Over 700 medical studies sustaining these benefits. Not only are average people benefiting from the power of Ganoderma Lucidum, even trusted medical professionals like Dr. Watts are challenging the traditional ways they approach medical treatment of their patients by prescribing Gano Luciderma.
My initial thoughts about the natural herb Ganoderma Lucidum, I thought it was a joke. The biggest surprise for me when I tried Gano myself was I started believing in natural herbal medicine. There was a drastic shift in my thinking in medicine. The results that I witnessed in a patient that I did start it on was a 12-year-old girl who I had previously 6 months before diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is meaning that she's having to use insulin on a daily basis, several times a day. After 4 months of continuing with the supplement, with the Ganoderma Lucidum, this patient went from a type 1 diabetic, which is injecting herself on a daily basis with insulin, to actually a type 2 diabetic, in which her diabetes is controlled by medication, by oral medications. It's unheard of for a type 1 diabetic to go to a type 2 diabetic in just that short time frame. I mean, it's unheard of, period.
For more than 5 years, because my old doctor never told me that I was diabetic, and as a result of which my left foot, I developed what is called neuropathy, and neuropathy is the hardening of the veins. My left foot became twice the size of my right foot. The color was reddish violet. I was in constant pain. I couldn't put my shoes, and most of the time I had to use my cane. A friend of mine by the name of Rick DeLuca, who is connected with Ganoderma, saw me one day, and he told me about Ganoderma and offered me, as a matter of fact, he gave me a box of oatmeals. I went to my doctor and told her about this, and she told me not to believe it because as far as she was concerned, she didn't believe in anything that was herbal. But because I was in constant pain, I decided to try it anyway. So lo and behold, after a month and a half, I noticed that my foot started getting better. I had to go and see my doctor again because I do my regular blood test, and she asked me, says, what have you been doing? I said, why, doctor? He says, well, how come your sugar has gone down and all your other organs, there's been a tremendous improvement? I said, I haven't done anything except that I've been taking the oatmeal that you told me not to take. And she says, oh, is that so? Well, he says, I'd like to do a more extensive test. I want you to continue taking, at this time I was taking the chocolate. He says, I want you to continue taking this, and I want to give you an extensive test after two months. And I want to find out if there's been, your other organs have been affected by this. But to make a long story short, after 2 months, which was just about a month and a half ago, I got my test, and the report said that everything, my sugar from 180, 190, it was down to 106. My liver has been improved. All my organs were perfect, and she was amazed. And my left foot is the same size as my right foot. I'm no longer, the color of my left foot is normal. I can use shoes. I have a lot of energy. I also had what they called the liver spots on my hand. These were spots that usually old people have. Remember, I'm 86 years old. They're all gone, completely gone. My skin has improved. I have color. Another thing, and people tease me about this, my hair's gotten darker. So that's my story, and boy, am I so happy. I have so much energy, you have no idea.
Hi, my name is Dexter. Before I started taking Gano, I was a physical wreck. I was involved in two major accidents, one in 1974 and one in 1987. The first one required surgery to remove L4 and 5, two herniated discs. In 1987, I was rear-ended, herniated C3, and after going to the Cleveland Clinic and seeing one of the top neurosurgeons in the country, it was determined that it was inoperable and there was nothing they could do to alleviate the pain. And they told me that I should just live with it, try to manage the pain. So ever since 1974, I've been trying to manage the pain in my back. It's been a deteriorating condition. In 2002, I found out that I also had type 2 diabetes. When they found out that I had that, my glucose level was 305 when they tested. I also had high blood pressure. And so they began treating me for the diabetes and the high blood pressure. And it was later discovered that I had congestive heart failure and arrhythmia. I had a pacemaker put in 2005. And the doctors also thought that I might need an angiogram because I had tremendous chest pains. I couldn't go more than a half a block without stopping to rest for 5 or 10 minutes before I could go further. I used a cane 99% of the time, and the other part of the time I had to use a walker just to get from one place to another. The doctors wanted to do an angiogram, but they found out that my liver and my kidney function was so bad, they said that if they injected the dye to do the angiogram, it would completely kill my kidneys, and I'd wind up on dialysis the rest of my life. So obviously I didn't do that procedure. I've suffered with pain and this chronic condition for years. In December of 2008, I was living in Texas, had been for about 4 years, and because of my condition, I decided to move back to Indiana where my family and friends were, because I thought two things were going to happen. One is that I'd be confined to a wheelchair, or the other thing is I would literally die. I didn't expect to be here today, as a matter of fact. So I moved up here in December, the first part of December of 2008, and I tried to exist, as it were, and I literally suffered since from December up until at least August or so. And in August, my son had heard that I was taking a lot of oxycodone. That was the pain medication I was on, and I'd take between 20 and sometimes 80 milligrams of oxycodone in a day. He said that amount of oxycodone would kill me. But I told him I had to have something to manage the pain. I couldn't exist the way I was going without some kind of a pain medication. Well, he had been that Gano would probably help alleviate some of the pain. Now, I couldn't figure out how reishi mushroom or any kind of mushroom would do anything to make me feel any better, but after a couple of months he bugged me until I finally said, okay, look, I'll buy the stuff, I'll try it. And I did. I started taking Gano coffee. My regular routine was to drink 2 cups of coffee every morning, so I exchanged the Folgers for Gano. And after the first cup, a couple of cups that I took, the first day that I drank the Gano, I noticed that I was more focused, alert, and had more energy. So I took it the next day and the next day, and after the third day, I noticed that I didn't feel the pain that I had felt before. As a matter of fact, I decided I'm not going to take any pain medication today and see what happens. And I went through the whole day without taking one pain pill, which, you know, was a first. I've been taking pain pills since 1974. That's the only way I could exist. And so I didn't take one single pain pill. And about 10:30, 11 o'clock I decided I needed to go to bed. I hadn't slept in a bed for like 5 years. I couldn't lay down. It killed me to lay down. I was in more pain laying down than sitting up, so I used to sleep in a recliner, if you could call it sleep. I'd doze off periodically. I'd be up and down out of there all night long, but at least that's how I got my rest. But I tried. I said, I'm going to try, see what happens. And I laid down, and to my surprise, it didn't bother me. And I slept through the night. And I woke up the next morning, and I felt great. I never took another pain pill since that day. I haven't taken one pain pill. I haven't taken a muscle relaxer. I haven't taken a nerve medication. And I feel better right now than I have in the last 10 years. And I haven't used a cane, haven't used a walker. I feel great. And I look back now and I think, you know what? Gano has literally changed my life. And I feel great.
A year ago, I'd never heard of Ganoderma lucidum, and after 9 months I can hardly even pronounce it, but it's done some incredible things in my body, and I'm very, very excited about it. I have more energy than I've had in years. I've lost weight to the extent that I can wear clothes that I haven't been able to wear in 7 or 8 years. I didn't change my exercise or my eating habits, only started taking the Ganoderma lucidum. I've had age spots on the back of my hands and on my face for years. They've gone now. I'm able to sleep through the night peacefully, and I haven't been able to do that for a long, long time. People come up all the time and ask me what I'm doing to my hair because it's both darker and thicker, and I have pictures from a year and a half ago that document that my hair is thicker and it's darker. I had a skin lesion on the side of my nose. It's completely gone. It was a dry, scaly patch. So on my toenails, they were discolored, they were brown, and I thought they were stained from my shoes. But apparently it was a fungus because it's gone. Also, I have a cyst on my left hand that's smaller and softer and appears to be going away. On my right hand, I had a herpes infection that is completely gone after 30 years. But the most amazing change to me is my eyesight. In March, which was 3 months ago, I was able to put away my prescription glasses, and I simply don't need them anymore. I also use readers on the computer, and the magnification on the readers, I've been able to reduce it from 2.0 to 1.75 to 1.50.